Welcome to OmniTalk, powered by Nexoft. I'm your host, Amy Rice, and OmniTalk is a podcast focusing on fintech and how it affects banks and credit unions. On today's episode, I will be interviewing Nexoft's Chief Revenue Officer, Kris Bishop. Kris has been in the industry for over 20 years. He started a few different financial services companies and is here to share his knowledge about how Nexoft can help banks and credit unions succeed in an ever-changing market. Today I have Kris Bishop on the phone with me. He's Nexoft's Chief Revenue Officer. How are you doing, Kris?
Fine, thanks, Amy.
So I wanted to start this off by talking a little bit about your background. You do have over 20 years of experience in the industry and extensive knowledge within the financial industry. Could you talk a little bit about that, Kris?
Sure. I've been working in this industry for 20 years. Right out of college, I went to work for one of the first companies to do digital check imaging, and have kind of been in the image and back office data archiving for the last 20 years, whether it be ECM solutions or check images, document images, and just kind of built a couple of different companies related to data connectivity, data migrations and conversions. Sold a couple of them, and then I'm here at Nexoft kind of managing the data strategy and working to do the same thing here.
Could you explain how you kind of became a part of Nexoft?
So I started a company in 2013 called Integrated Legacy Solutions. Our focus was on data conversions, helping banks that were going through an acquisition or a merger convert data from their acquired system over to the new system, the new go-forward system from the acquiring institution, or any FI that was maybe changing core solutions, changing ECM or check image solutions. We would convert their data from the old system to their new system, or we would migrate their data off of the old system to a server there at their location. And then we had a browser and some plugins behind the scenes that would allow them to do research from all these disparate systems around their organizations that they had collected from mergers and acquisitions. They can do research then from one browser for checks and document images, statements, cold reports, any type of archived data from the financial institution. So that company we sold to Nexoft in March of last year, and I've been here ever since.
Can you talk about Nexoft Solutions and how they can help financial institutions?
Sure. So, at Nexoft, we're really focused on the data connectivity and integration as it relates to banks and credit unions via our Omni Connect. And the migration and data conversions products is Omni Data, and that handles the conversions. And the third and the fourth products is data analytics and compliance through our Omni Comply division. And then Omnilytics, of course, is data analytics that kind of goes along with CECL and some of those types of customer profitability, account profitability. And then we have a security layer we wrap around all of those products through our Omni Secure products and Threat Advice and vCISO, which is customer education and the virtual Chief Information Security Officer for the institution.
How can all of these solutions help a financial institution succeed?
So that's a good question. OmniConnect, for instance, helps integrate all of the, what I like to say, the cool kids, all of the front-end applications and software companies that are working with banks and credit unions. OmniConnect integrates their needs and gets the data back and forth to the core system. So our API solution sets there in that more than 900 banks, credit unions today, to kind of help get the data from the back office systems, do sometimes some complex calculations, to help them really automate the data flow from any of these front end systems and get the data out of the core systems at the financial institutions, while also speeding up the process and eliminating any manual errors, data entry type thing. For instance, our LOS express boarding module, it takes the time to board a loan down to just several minutes per loan, and the data is all integrated, so everything is coming out of the core correct when we get it there. Our Omni Data and our Omni Secure connectivity pieces of it, they help with the amount of disparate systems the bank has. For instance, our Omni Conversion, our Omni Data product called Omni Convert can take data out of any system and convert it to any other system. Or we can use our browser and migrate the data. So the bank doesn't have to go through the time and expense of actually a data conversion and loading the data into the new core system. They can convert the data. We can put part of it into the new system and migrate the remainder of the data into OmniView, which the entire institution can have access to without ever having to go through a data conversion. So it really streamlines that whole process down to a matter of weeks instead of months and months and months.
Could you talk a little bit about the future of fintech and kind of what that holds as far as, with the current pandemic going on and, what institutions can expect?
Sure. I mean, in my opinion, the future of fintech is kind of the roles that we're playing in, right? It's all about the data in the institutions, how to access that data, where we allow everyone access to that core data, not just who your current core vendor, has chosen, or not just their systems. So it's about the data, the access, mining and monetizing that data so that you can be the most efficient way. I mean, a lot of times there's solutions inside that data to problems that are coming up. You may want to monetize that data or optimize the data to increase sales or to maybe to solve some problems with your customer base. And so I think the real focus on the future of fintech is the data, right? So we have chosen the 4 verticals to analyze it, access it, integrate it, secure it. So that's really the 4 tentacles of where I think all banks and credit unions and the whole fintech industry is really focused on.
I kind of want to touch on the fact that Nexoft Solutions don't only help banks and financial institutions, but they also help software companies connect their APIs to other disparate systems. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So, for instance, our Omni Connect is a middleware, if you will, of an API solution suite. We have roughly 1,800 different connectors running today in financial institutions around the country that help connect not just an LOS system, not just a payment system, but maybe a CRM system or an analytics system, any type of fintech company on the front end that needs to access data and systems at the bank on the back end. So if you think about, an analytics or a CRM company that needs to come in and maybe get some data from their payment system over here while getting some other data from their document image system and then getting the CIF or other computations out of the core system, we're the middleware and the bridge that helps those fintech companies pull all this data together, pass it back and forth. So we pass it over maybe to the CRM system or to the digital marketing system. They'll do their computations or gyrations with it, and then maybe we update some flag or send some information back to the core as well. So we're really the largest in the industry that has a bidirectional, secure, open API to all the different core systems that are on the market today.
Are there any other features or benefits that puts Nexoft Solutions over their competitors?
I think if you look at our holistic data strategy, right? So it's not just the APIs. There are other people that do API work, obviously, but do they offer the data integration component that Omni Data has, where we can not only pull the data from the core systems or the payment systems, but we can also go and mine the data from the archive. So if you want to see the actual images and the collateral, you want to see the signature card or the check image that comes along with that transaction. Maybe you're pulling a book of business, to sell, then we can pull the actual loan documents for that book of business. Then you compile that with our security, our API monitoring from OmniSecure and all the other tools, the vCISO, the dashboard there, and then even our threat advice, being able to educate your customers and your employees what not to click on, right? So that we can not have as much cybersecurity, no breaches, that type of thing. So we're one of the only ones that offers an entire solution of suite of products around the data that does the integration, the analytics, helping you monetize it and secure it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me, Kris.
Thank you, Amy, for having me today.
If you'd like more information about Nexoft Solutions, visit www.NXTsoft.com. Thanks for listening. As always, stay safe and stay well.